Hey John, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut lenses for your Oakley crosslink sweep. Of course, model number, let me tuck everything back in here. Model number 8031, and since I am not a registered Oakley dealer, you have mailed me your frames, and I'm going to cut transition brown lenses for them. So let me take out your original demo lenses, one of which says Oakley, and I'm going to pop these out and put them in the tray. And of course, you're going to receive back all the manufacturer's original packaging. I'm going to put your frame into the tracing element of my edger, and I'm going to trace the shape of your frame. It's the little stylus is going to pop up, and it's going to go around and trace the shape of the right side of the frame before moving over and tracing the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic frame from me and you will receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipts have my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will be reimbursed. But because I did not sell you this frame, because I do not have access to Oakley, you will have to pay for the lenses. And of course, you did pay for the upgrade to Transitions Brown to go with your brown frame. Of course, they call this the satin root beer. I don't know if that's the satin orange. I doubt that. So let me take this out, put your frame right there. Your pupillary distance, that is the shape of your frame, just magnified. If I move that card out of the way, that green outline is the diagram of your lens. Now let's say your pupillary distance is 30.5 for the right eye. My computer automatically starts at 32.5, so that is 30.5. Your right eye is 32.5, so we're good there. So let's go back to the right eye. We can go ahead and get your lenses prepped. Your right lens reads +4 -150 at 80. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 80. Let me make sure everything is zeroed out perfectly, and it is. Let's see, with the +4, this has got to be the +4 just based on the thickness. I'm going to put the power drum on +4. Put your lens in, rotate it until I find the optical center. The sphere power is read correctly at 4. Let's clamp that down. Let me check your astigmatism correction, get all that lined up. That is good. And I'll explain all that in just a little bit. And I'm going to put 3 red dots on your lenses, and let's mark this one R for right. Now your left eye reads +1 -150 at 85. I'm going to spin the axis wheel 5 degrees. Let's see, put the power drum on +1. Put your lens in and rotate until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center of your lens. Check your astigmatism correction. Everything looks good there. And we're going to put, excuse me, this is allergy week here at freeprescriptionlenses.com. And this is going to be your left lens. So let's go back down here. And let's take your right lens, place it on the platform. Now, this is a block, or as I like to call it, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. This is what's going to hold it in place in the lathe. So I need a double-sided adhesive sticker, of which I'm running out of. Gracious, I hope the Monday delivery brings me another roll. But this is a double-sided adhesive sticker. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick it on one. And of course, the little silver button in the back is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice, and I will show you when that happens. First time is coming up. Pull the paper away to make the second side sticky, and you see the 3M logo. This magnet now is going to go into place, and it's going to hold it in place in the arm. Let's magnify your lens again. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there is your lens has to be oriented in there just perfectly. It cannot be rotated at all, or you're just not going to see as well. So those 3 dots give me a straight line. It gives me a 180 meridian. That center dot is your optical center, which goes here. Now the blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you measured vertically and horizontally, that is where you would end up at that blue cross. Your right eye is just inset from there. So I'm going to put your optical center inside that crosshairs, and these 2 dots line up on the orange graph, which tells me it's in there perfectly and it's not off center at all. So I'm going to hit the button, and the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. Now let's do the same thing for the left lens. Put it on the platform. Let me get the block. Pull the paper off, show you the 3M logo, which means it's sticky and ready to go. Get everything lined up just perfectly. Actually, your pupillary distance is 32.5. It actually already mirrored or mimicked what was on the left, so I need to increase that to 32.5. Get those dots lined up in there just perfectly. And check one thing. Yeah, we're good to go. Optical center is there. That's lined up good. And we're going to hit the button, and that's going to drop the block onto your left lens. Now, the actual cutting wheel, by the way, this is the Edger. It costs $40,000. I recommend everyone go out and buy one. It weighs 200 pounds. Put it on your kitchen counter, and then you can cut lenses at home. You won't need me anymore. But the part of the machine that's going to do all the work is in here. This is the cutting wheel down below. The wheel on the far right is the roughing wheel. It's like a heavy grit sandpaper that's going to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center is what's going to put with that channel, that little valley. That's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens, the V-shaped bevel, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. This third wheel on the far left is a polishing wheel, and I will not be polishing your lenses. So let's go ahead and pull the shape of your lens up. That is it. Let's see, these are polycarbonate lenses, so I'm going to choose PC for polycarb. I'm going to cut it on the soft cycle. The red star is fast, the 2 green stars is slow. Again, I'm not going to polish. I'm going to eliminate that. I'm not going to put a bevel on the front part of the lens. I'm only going to put a bevel on the rear lens. And that's up. Let's put your lens in. And then this is the second job that the magnet's going to do. That's going to hold it in place in the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. But I'm going to hit that green arrow, and that is start in every language. The door is going to close. And then 2 white calipers are going to come out, and it's going to trace the shape of the right side of the frame, going all the way around to make sure that the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. And it actually does it twice, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so your lens fits best inside the frame for the best cosmetic value. Now in just a moment, your lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel. If you notice, if you see light flickering in the back, there is water running, but it's only to collect the optical sawdust. Polycarbonate cuts dry, where plastic and high-index plastic cut wet. You will see water splash onto the lens, but only for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. So your lens is beginning to cut. Now your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. Their lenses are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, but your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. So if you notice, your lens is completely flat, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, it would stand up on its own, but now it's getting the knife-like bevel, the V bevel, that's going to hold it into the bevel of the frame, so it will never come out. Your lenses are also aspheric. Not only are they 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic, but the front curvature of your lens is much flatter. I had these custom made. I had them done on a 4 base, which is a very flat base. On top of that, I got an aspheric grind, which is even flatter. With your prescription, it's going to give you the best cosmetic look. I am a licensed optician in the state of North Carolina. Not to knock other people, but they just haven't had the education. There's only 20 states that require a license. The large corporations are trying to take away licensure, and they want to pay someone. They don't want to pay my high fees, which I can understand, but they want to have someone in there who just would not know, if they wanted to, how to give you the thinnest lens possible with your prescription. You are a hyperope. Your lenses have a strong magnification and can be very thick. I am thinning things out for you at no extra charge, just because I can. All transition lenses are a custom grind, so I'm going to go ahead and have the ground as thin as possible. Let's go ahead and dry your lens off, and we're going to see if it mounts into the frame. There's a little, it didn't get washed off. This is called Schwarf. This is optical sawdust. I'm going to collect it, use my thumbnail to scrape it off of your lens. I'm going to carefully collect it into one pile very neatly on the counter, and then I'm going to wipe it on the floor, because that never gets old. I love doing that. The clown gets to laugh while at work. That's always a plus. Okay, so let's go ahead and mount your lens. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner. Using my thumbs, I press down at the nose, and it's still a little large, so I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter. 1/10 and hit retouch. Now 1/10 of a millimeter, to all my American friends who have no clue what a millimeter is, it is the distance between my thumbnails. I'm going to take 1/10 of that diameter off, going around the circumference of your lens until it snaps into the frame. The golden rule with cutting anything from wood to lenses is you can always cut more off, and you can never add it back on. So I start a little bit large and I work my way down until it's a perfect fit. I don't want to force it into your frame because it would cause your frame to stretch or to roll, as we in the business call it. It will apply unneeded force to your frame, and if you can imagine your frame is like a gutter, the bottom of your frame would roll outward. That's why it's called rolled. It gives you a terrible cosmetic look and it shortens the life of your frame. And because I'm a perfectionist and I cut every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide, I will not turn out any subpar work. Now if you notice a little arm that came into place, it has a little spinning wheel on the end. That is what's known as the safety bevel. I'm just applying a soft bevel to the rear surface, the concave surface of your lens, which sits closest to your face, just to remove any residual roughness that may be left over from the cutting wheel. All your lenses are not thick enough to come outside your frame, but it's just a good thing to do anyway. So I will open the door with my mind. There we go. Let's take the lens out of the Chuck. The Charles, excuse me. How about the Charlie? Can I call you that? Chucky? Chucky baby? Okay. So, I'm going to tuck your lens in at the outside corner and then use my thumbs, press down at the nose. And it's still a little thick. Don't like that. So let me take it down a little bit more. I don't want to force that. So I'm going to, again, take it down 1/10 of a millimeter. I apologize, this is taking an extra couple minutes. But I am a perfectionist and I do not want you to have any problem with your lenses years from now. I did have to hit the button to close the door. I can open it with my mind, but I have to hit a button to close it. You know, I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. Well, I can. It just takes a little while, but I can do it. Speaking of taking a while, I have a theory about the song Hotel California. I think it's just a negative Yelp review with a 2-minute guitar solo. What do you think? Whee! Your lens is getting a bath. It's like being in the car wash. That reminds me, I need to take a bath. It is spring after all. It's time for some spring cleaning. Okay, you ready? I'm going to open the door with my mind. Everyone count to 3. 1, 2. Oh, you counted too fast. Okay. Take the lens out, dry it off. Tuck that in there, press down, and now it snaps in there better. Okay, so let's go ahead and start cutting the left lens. Pop that in and hit start, and just like before, the door is going to close, the clamp is going to shut, and then it's going to trace the left side of the frame to make sure that the lens is large enough to fit. Then of course measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the best edge thickness possible, the best cosmetic value, if you will. So you have no edge thickness whatsoever, as you can see here. None protruding from the frame, and I had it match the curvature of the frame as well. So let's go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Pull the sticker off. It is no longer needed. My little red dot got smeared, but let's go ahead and clean that off. I'll put another one on there when I locate your optical center. Now I'm going to put your lens back in my lensometer. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 80. And this is what I'll explain. Put it in, find the optical center again. Get everything lined up. Let's put the dots back on your lenses. But your right eye reads +4 minus 150 at 80. I am at +4 in power. The unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. You need 16 steps of correction for your nearsighted. You are actually very farsighted. Without your glasses on, you can see far much better than you can up close. So you need 16 steps of correction for your nearsightedness so that you can see that way. Now you need an additional 1.5 diopters, so you're at what, 17.5 diopters total power. 17.5 steps, not diopters, forgive me. So you need 16 steps to make everything clear far away, and you need an additional, well, to get it the right size, then you need an additional 6 steps to make everything clear. Astigmatism, of which you have 1.5 diopters in both eyes. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. Now there's a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. Don't freak out, everyone, when they hear that word. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It's why you squint. You're trying to make things clear. You're changing the shape of your eye when you squint. Think of it as the fine-tune knob. And we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 80. A straight line is 0 to 180. 0, 90 in the center, 180 on this side, 270 at the bottom for those of you keeping score at home. But we're going to turn that knob starting at 0 and almost get to 90, and we're going to stop at 80, and that's going to make everything nice and clear and crisp. This first number makes everything the correct size. Without your glasses on, everything is much too small in real life. So everything will be magnified. That is why there is a plus sign. Your lens is magnified. So we're at +4. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction, and we're going to end up at +250. That is because we're going to subtract 150 from 4 and end up with 250. Remember high school algebra where you subtract the unlike signs? Don't worry, I've forgotten high school algebra too. Let's use today's terms. You have $4 and someone borrowed $1.50 from you. You would have $2.50 left over. That's where we're at, +250. Now your right eye is much better. You only need 4 steps of correction to see far away, but you still need another 1.5 diopters, and we're going to turn that knob to 85 this time, just a little bit closer to 90. Now these first 2 numbers are real values that we should be concerned with. This last number could be anywhere from 0 to 180 and really doesn't mean much in the big scheme of things. Nor does my life here on this planet mean much in the big scheme of things, but I'm still going to continue to work. So I'm going to open up the button. We're going to dry your lens off. And let's see if it fits into the frame. Let's grab your frame out of my dusty Marco 1 lensometer. We're going to tuck it in at the outside corner, push down, that snaps in well. Let's go ahead and remove the block from your lens. Let's remove that sticker. Let's go back over. We're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 85. We're going to put this back in my dusty Marco 101 lensometer. Now would be a good time for you to see how much dust is on top. And we're at +1. We're going to check your astigmatism correction of -150, and we end up at -50. So again, you had $1, you let someone borrow $1.50, you're 50 cents in the red. You were in the plus, now you're in the red. So that is made correctly. Your pupillary distance is 30, 62 is a total of 63. I'm going to turn the card around so you can see those red dots. I'm going to place the 0 on my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and when we hold it up to your left lens, we're getting 63 millimeters, so that is made correctly. Now here's the portion in every video. Let me get these in standard alignment for you, but that I mentioned, of course, free shipping anywhere in the United States, but when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these will be too loose or too tight. Excuse me, allergies. However, there is an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other, and that is because 80% of people have one ear. Oops, I see some optical sawdust. Let me clean that off. Scrape that off your lens. Oh, it's inside the frame. That's why I couldn't get it. Tuck that back in. But 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And that is why 99% of all optical shops would do free adjustments to correct for that. And I'm part of that 80%, and I'll show you in a moment. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it down, There is a little bit of a wobble, so I adjust it so there is no wobble. When I say wobble, again, I'm part of the 80%. When I take mine off and I set them on the counter, they wobble, but they sit level on me. Flip them over. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Now, John, this is what your lenses look like while they're still clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Transitions brown portion of the lens. I'm going to put it in my little Transitions box back here in the corner, which is just a strong UV light. I turn it on, and John, as you will see, all transition lenses turn dark within about 30 to 45 seconds of going outside. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, John, pay attention. This is important. All transition lenses will turn dark on day 1. They will continue to darken if they've been exposed to the sun for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they won't work is if you're inside of a traditional vehicle. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause your dashboard to crack from sitting in the sun, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. They're also temperature sensitive, with summer coming up, meaning when it's 85 and 90 degrees and below, they get much darker than they do when it's in the triple digits. I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Everyone's miserable when it's 100 degrees, and no one likes to work 100%. So that's it. That's the first time your brown lenses have been activated. Don't worry, they're going to continue to darken. Come on, John, we talked about this, don't you remember? So that's that. I appreciate it, John. This is your second pair of Oakleys that you have sent me. Your first pair we put Transitions gray. This time we did the Transitions brown. And of course, these are the Oakley 80, what are they? I can't say like that. These are the Oakley 8031. The Oakley calls them the cross-link sweep in the 55 eye size. The color is satin root beer. I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut Transitions brown lenses for your frame, and everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.